Hello, my lovely duckies, and welcome to the Boneyard. And as always, I am your host, Caster. And today we're celebrating the 30th birthday of the Sega Game Gear. That's right, duckies. October 6, 1990 is the birthday of one of the greatest handhelds ever made. That's right, fight me over it. And to celebrate his 30th birthday, I thought I'd go ahead and make a buying guide for all those duckies out there who want to get their hands on one. So, where do we start? Well, I'm going to say this right now, Dougie. If you're getting one off of a lot of like if you're planning on buying one from a thing like a flea market or like a thrift store or something like that, it's not like buying a Nintendo NES or a Sega Genesis where it'll work when you bring it home. Odds are it's not going to work. So unless you have the soldering skills to replace those capacitors, which 9 times out of 10, that's the problem with your Game Gear, Ducky, you're not gonna be able to play it. So you're probably gonna have to buy one. If you're not gonna do it yourself, repair it yourself, you're gonna have to buy one, Ducky. It's just the way of the beast. Okay, spend a little money here, and well, I would say go ahead and eBay is probably a great place to look. Um, but like anything, if you're buying anything, always ask to show their work. Ask to like look inside of it where they can take a picture of their work and check out their rating and look at the reviews, look at the negative reviews they had and how many positives they had and negatives, and because sometimes those negative reviews are just people who are stupid, you know, but sometimes they are legitimate concerns. So do like with anything, Ducky, do your research, okay? If they refuse or they're kind of weird about, kind of iffy about showing their work, they're not worthy of your time, Ducky. Go ahead and move on. At the time of this, I would say a good refurbished Game Gear off off of eBay. Excuse me, a good refurbished Game Gear off of eBay. I would say it's going to run you about $75 to about $90, and I'd say that's a good range there. Make sure also you're getting a replaced glass screen, and what by that I mean is like one of these. Of course, this one's not stock, not the original black one, but I like this white one here. Anyways, it's like my Sonic the Hedgehog Game Gear that I made myself. But glass screen will look actually it'll make the improve the stock LCD. It actually makes it look a lot better because it's a lot more clarity. Because these older screens here, that's kind of like a seems like they're made with a softer plastic, not actual glass, and that plastic scratches very easily. So the glass won't scratch that easy, and the plastic ones, they have all kinds of scuffs and everything. And so just make sure you get a nice glass screen replacement with your refurbished Sega Game Gear. Now, if it was just that, this would be a stupid video. I have other options for you, Ducky. So what else kings can you get? Well, again, the prices are going to go up as you get more options for your Game Gear. So we have backlight mods that you can get for your Sega Game Gear that replace the fluorescent bulb in the Sega Game Gear, which greatly increases your battery life, and in a lot of cases makes it look a lot brighter because that fluorescent bulb in the back does tend to get dim over the years. And let's be honest, that's the biggest flaw. Other than the capacitors, the biggest flaw is that big ass fluorescent bulb in the thing because it does eat batteries. So it will greatly improve your battery life. I would say a stock Game Gear without anything done in it, just replace capacitors, or even one that just doesn't have as raised capacitors, but it just happens to work. It's going to be about 4 to 6 hours of gameplay. That fluorescent bulb really does a number on them batteries. So I would suggest getting rechargeable batteries if you're going to be playing it with the batteries and not through like the actual DC jack. Um, but with the backlight mod, it greatly increases the gameplay time of your Game Gear because you go up from 4 to 6 to 10 to 16 hours on a single battery charge. So, yeah, that's a hell of a jump there. So that could be something you could look into. Backlight mods, I would say, at the time of this video, again, because prices are going to change, but I would say anywhere from $100 to $125 sounds pretty fair to me. Um, and they're going to look, it's going to look a lot better, and be a lot brighter. And of course, again, make sure it comes with a replace screen, because it's going to look kind of stupid having having that new backlight in there, and then you have like a crappy screen, you know, crappy glass screen. Now here's the thing though. Um, Getting a backlight mod is kind of a irreversible thing. Um, so you gotta make sure this is something you want to get. If you like having your stock screen, because honestly, those stock screens sometimes they over time they don't. Well, sometimes they go kind of bad over time. A lot of them look pretty good, I would say. In my career of repairing Game Gears, I usually just replace the capacitors and resell them, and a lot of them, most of them, have really good screens with minimal ghosting effects on there. And if that's something that doesn't bother you, just having a stock screen, well, then backlight kit is going to be really great for you, Ducky. But if you want a brand new screen, it's kind of either or. If you can get an LCD replacement for your Game Gear, but it's kind of an either or thing. So that's another thing to consider is like, do you want to go ahead and get the backlight replaced, or do you just want to get the whole LCD replaced? Because the LCD doesn't, because it uses a modern LCD screen, and those are backlit by themselves anyways. So, but again, money is the biggest thing here. So getting an LCD replaced screen is going to cost you, I would say, at least 200 to 250. I would say that's a pretty fair price to pay, and that's what you can expect to pay. Again, of course, this goes up with other factors like, is it a different colored Game Gear? Like if it's a blue Game Gear, that might increase the price up a little bit more than that. Like if you're getting an LCD replaced red Game Gear, yeah, that's gonna I would say $300. Just because of like the red Game Gears are more rare. And the rarity goes from like the black grayish charcoal, I guess you could say, colors, and then you got blue, red, and then top of the line is yellow. For some reason, I don't know, yellow just, I don't know, it's the rarest one. So if you find yourself a yellow Game Gear, and you find it at like a repair shop, go ahead and jump on that. Or not a repair shop, but if you find it like in like I don't know, like a thrift store or flea market or a swap meet or anything like that, and if they're selling it really cheap, jump on it, Ducky. Believe me. Yeah, believe me. Oh, yeah. Jump on that, because that's really, really rare. Um, but anyways, I digress. Uh, Again, with the LCD replacements, asked to see the work, asked to open it up and look at it. Um, Make sure they're using a pretty good screen. Um, at the time of this video, RetroKai.store is coming up with a brand new LCD screen. Right now, like the big guy on the block is like the McWheel. That's kind of like been the standard of the LCD replacement scene on the Game Gears. Um, but RetroKai is coming out with a brand new one. Hopefully, it'll be cheaper. I know for a fact it's going to be easier to install than the standard McWheel. So hopefully, if it's easier to install, then that might bring the price down a little bit, because people can sell more of them. But anyways, Ducky, so that's pretty much what you're going to be expecting to pay. So to recap this, a standard just replace capacitors, anywhere from $75 to $90 sounds pretty fair to me. A backlight modded one, anywhere from 100 to 125, and a LCD replaced mod altogether, all the bells and whistles, 200 to 250. That seems like what I'd be trying to go for. Um, of course, there are other little doodads and things you can get. Like one option you can have done is, and this one doesn't really even require any kind of mod work. You can actually buy this. It's plug and play, which is actually really good. You're just going to need a game bit screwdriver to open up the security screw on the back. But yeah, all you need really is a screwdriver for this one. Is the soundboard replacement from Retro 6. They actually have one that actually has a instead of like the actual the jack for the normal jack that it has for the Game Gear. This one actually uses a USB-C. You know, so that's really cool. So that just greatly increases the versatility of it, because now you don't have to lug around that. If you're going to play from the DC jack, you don't have to lug around that big old freaking brick that the Game Gear has for an adapter. And the Game Gear does, by the way, I've said this many times before, but it does use the same adapter as the Sega Genesis Model 2. So that's one thing to consider also. But yeah, the USB replacement, the USB-C replacement board, it's only screwed in. So all you have to do is just unplug just pull very carefully pull the plug or the cable from the main board, unplug or unscrew the power board, pull it out, put in the new one in. It just put it in there and screw it in, and then there you go. That's all you need to do. Just easy peasy. It's kind of just plug and play, like I said. You only need a screwdriver to fix that one, and now you have one that can. Now you have a Game Gear that you can use a modern USB-C cable for. So really good. Now some other things to know, other than just like modifications that you can do for it. Some other good things about the Game Gear that you should know is that all Game Gears are region free. Yes, you can play any game on a Game Gear from anywhere. So, and this is really good because sometimes you can find cheaper games from other countries. Yeah, and for the most part, you know, I think really only Game Gears are only done in like English and Japanese. So if you find like a European copy of a game, odds are it's going to be in English. But now, buying a Japanese game may not be, you know, may not be that bad because honestly, like a lot of games on the Game Gear don't really require a whole lot of reading unless you're getting something like an RPG. But if you're playing something like Sonic or Streets of Rage or games like that, you really don't need to read anything, you know. Like you know, so you can just play it. Now games like I do know for a fact that the Shinobi for the Game Gear, because I have both. I have the English version or the U.S. version, and I have the Japanese version, and they're identical. They're absolutely identical, and the Japanese version is in full English, which is really weird to me. Yeah, so not that you really need English to play it, but yeah, it's in full English. The Japanese version of Shinobi. So that's another thing to consider too. Is you know, you can get games from any other region. So if there's a game that's really expensive, you know, it's a U.S. version, and you live in the U.S. and you know you're like, hey, you know, I'll just get the Japanese because the Japanese version's like at least $100 cheaper. Not the Game Gear games go for that high. Some of them do, but not most of them. But you know, sometimes you can get a cheaper, rarer game that way. And vice versa. You know, you can find, you know, maybe a European version that's not as expensive as say a Japanese version or something. I don't know, but that's really cool that they're actually region free. Now, another cool thing about about having the Game Gear is that you basically have a Sega Master System. Oh yeah, I'm not lying to you, Ducky. Well, actually, see, really the operating system for the for the Game Gear is basically it's basically a handheld Sega Master System, you know. And a lot of the Game Gear games were ports of the Sega Master. Blah, blah, blah. I can't get that out. Oh, we're doing it live, Ducky. But anyways, a lot of the Game Gear games are Master System ports. So, how do you have a Master System? Well, here's how. Now this is going to cost a little bit of money also, but at the time of this video, because all I've seen is ones that cost quite a bit of money. But if you can find it on eBay or anywhere really, like a flea market or something, but eBay is probably going to be your best bet. I have never seen anything like this in the wild. But yeah, you can get a Sega Master System converter. Mm-hmm. And what it will do is it will. I don't have one, but it will. It will go into the back here, and then it has a cartridge slot that you can put Sega Master System games in. Now, I don't believe you can play the Hue card games. You know because the Sega Master System has actual cards you can play games on. I don't believe it has anything for that, but it just has ones for the actual cartridges. Now the Sega, or I think it's like the Master System base converter for the Sega Genesis. That actually has the little card slot for the Master System card games. But so you if you want to play Sega Master System, your Game Gear is backwards compatible if you have the converter thing. So that's really great. So in conclusion, Ducky, I hope this guide helped you out. I know kind of rambling there at the end, but I hope it helped you out and gave you some idea of what you want to get for your Game Gear. And I hope you do get one, Dougie. And if you find one really good, leave a comment down below, Dougie, and tell me where you got it and how much you paid for it. And like always, Ducky, stay safe and be good to each other.